Hi guys, and welcome to another Rashi production tutorial. Today we'll be going over how to paint eyes. This is my latest custom Aramis, and I'm going to be giving him mismatched eyes, so one of them is going to be brown and the other one is going to be blue, and I thought this was just a really good opportunity to go over how to paint both brown and blue eyes. So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing you'll need is some paint. I use just bog standard acrylic paint from the art shop. You'll see I have several different brands, it really doesn't matter. The important thing is to get the colours right, and the colours you will need are white, black, a dark brown, I use raw umber, doesn't need to be that, a lighter brown. This one's completely optional. I occasionally use a metallic brown to get that extra little sparkle out of my eyes, but this one is optional, and if you can't find it, don't worry. You also need a red and a dark blue. So the first thing you want to do is create your eye white. I use a tiny bit of red and add a lot of white to it to get a really kind of pinkish white, and this is just for the eye white so it doesn't look as crisp white, just to add that little bit of realism. What I also tend to do is I like my eyes really nice and dark, so I take my darkest brown and add a bit of black to it to get a really strong dark brown. Step 1, and you need to paint the entire eye completely black. This is a really good way of seeing how much of the eye you've got to work with. Also gives a good dark base layer to start with, especially if you're like me and you use sealant for the rest of the customizing of the horse. Sometimes the paint doesn't stick to the sealant very well, so this is a good way to have a base layer. Let that dry. Step 2 is to add in the eye whites. Now I'm going to be having my horse looking forwards, so I'm going to put eye white at the back of the eye. You'll notice how much eye white I actually put down. I do pretty much cover half of the eye with this pinkish white colour. I do recommend doing this so you get a really nice solid block of colour down. Depending on where you want your horse to look, you put your eye whites in different places. If you want him looking kind of to the side, you put eye whites to the front and the back, and if you want him looking behind him, then you just add it to the front. Gloss, it just adds a little bit of extra depth to the eye, which looks really good, and I add a little bit of realism. Some people add a tiny bit of white acrylic to their eyes. I personally don't. I like to have a natural shine to it, but this is completely up to you and it's a personal choice. Let it dry and then we're pretty much done. The very final step is to gloss the eye. Now this is the only time that I'm going to actually suggest any kind of brand. This is the one I use. It's a special artist acrylic gloss. I would stay away from clear nail varnish just because I've heard it yellows with time. So all I do is add a little bit to the lid and use a special brush which I always use for glossing, and go ahead and just dab it on the eye, and when you're done, it should look something like this.